This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, ready to take a look at your MLB overnight lines for the games on Monday, July 25th. A short card on Monday, but a couple of games stick out. Let's get to it and start by looking at the Detroit Tigers as they take on the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. And a lot of hype was made of the acquisition by the Boston Red Sox a couple of weeks ago, that trade with the San Diego Padres for their lefty Drew Pomeranz, who's had a fantastic season with the Padres prior to that trade. However, as giddy as Red Sox Nation was to get a legitimate, solid starting pitcher in their rotation who's had a career season, the best season of his career by far for Pomeranz, I had some concerns, and it's pretty clear to understand why based on what we saw from Pomeranz in his debut with the Red Sox. Pomeranz is a solid pitcher, but I think he's a solid pitcher more based on where he pitches. He's good in the right environment, and I'm not convinced, though, Fenway Park is that right environment for Drew Pomeranz. He's a fly ball pitcher and an extreme fly ball pitcher. And when those fly balls are basically heading to the outfield at Petco Park, they're ending up in outfielders' gloves more often than not, and they're dying in front of the warning track. Well, all of those fly balls at Fenway Park, those that are caught in the outfield at Petco, at Fenway Park, those turn into extra base hits and home runs. They turn into doubles, triples, home runs. They get hit off the green monster. They go into the monster seats. They go out down the right field line, past pesky pole, down that right field line, which is very, very short in terms of what it takes to get a home run out down the right field line at Fenway. To me, this ballpark is just quite simply a bad fit for Drew Pomeranz, and that was on full display when he faced the San Francisco Giants in his Red Sox debut at Fenway last week, giving up 5 runs on 8 hits in just 3 innings, including 2 home runs. He was belted around the park by a Giants lineup that has been asleep really since the All-Star break, outside of that big night that they had against Drew Pomeranz. So I've really got concerns that this could end up being a trade that might blow up in the Red Sox face. I'm not saying Pomeranz can't turn it around, can't pitch better. He's got it in him to do it, but boy, I'm just not sure with his pitching style and the fly balls that he surrenders that he is a very good fit to get outs in this kind of ballpark here at Fenway. So I have my concerns with Drew Pomeranz, and especially when he's commanding the price tag he is here at minus 150 almost in this game, and taking on Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers, who has just been absolutely spectacular as of late for the Tigers. He's been on a very strong run. He's allowed 7 runs in his last 27.2 innings pitched over his last 4 starts, 9 walks to 32 strikeouts during that time. And he also has a pretty good track record against Boston. He's allowed just 4 runs in his last 22 innings pitched against them over his last 3 starts against Boston. So I think Detroit is a bit of a live underdog here. You get a pretty solid plus price with Verlander and the Tigers around plus 130, plus 135. I'm going to take my shot here with Detroit. I think they can win this game. Lean to the over because I think Pomeranz might get hit by this Detroit team in this ballpark because I just don't trust him at Fenway given his pitching style. But Verlander has been good against Boston and has been very good current form as well right now, that I like Detroit more than I like the over. I'll lean to the over, but I think the stronger play is on the side and looking toward the Tigers. Maybe also take Detroit on the first 5 inning line. We always know that bullpen is a little bit of a, train wreck at times for Detroit. So a little on the first 5 innings line and a little bit on the full game with Detroit as an underdog at Fenway against the Boston Red Sox there on Monday night. Let's see what else we've got for Monday. Jeremy Hellicksen and the Phillies may be worth a look at plus 120 as an underdog at Miami. I know Miami's been playing pretty good baseball, but Hellicksen on a good run, and Hellicksen is trying to audition, I think, for teams right before the trade deadline here. So every start now is big for him as he tries to audition. The Phillies, a lot of teams are calling them, wondering if Jeremy Hellicksen is a possible fit for them for a trade before the deadline. So this is a big audition type of start for Hellicksen. So I think you're going to see him really motivated to pitch well, and he's in pretty good form. Jeremy Hellicksen at the moment with a 2.7 ERA in his last 3 starts, just 6 runs allowed in his last 20 innings of work. Pretty good numbers from Hellicksen. And Cozart, I don't know what to expect from him. He went on the DL, hasn't pitched since April. This will be his return to the starting rotation for Miami. He wasn't good before. I don't know if I'm ready to trust him. Maybe some underdog value with the Phillies there. We've got Braden Shipley making his major league debut for Arizona at Milwaukee. First round pick for them in 2013. Decent numbers in AAA. Not sure what we are going to expect from him here, but I definitely know I don't want to endorse Chase Anderson and the Brewers as a favorite in that game. So if anything, Arizona and maybe the over in that game. I also think Cincinnati could be a live dog at San Francisco. Giants are playing miserable baseball. The All-Star break completely fucked them up, really. I mean, the Giants have just been absolutely disastrous since the break, and they were red hot going into the break, and now ice cold coming out of the break. I mean, this Giants team is just in a real rough shape right now. 1-7 in their last 8 games. They lose 2 or 3 over the weekend against the New York Yankees, and it's just been an absolute struggle for them. Now Jake Peavy takes the mound. He got roughed up a little bit last start at Boston, allowing 4 runs on 6 hits. He's been good. He's been bad. He's been a mixed bag. He really struggled early in the season. He's been a little bit better of late, but now you're seeing him and a very, very struggling San Francisco team behind him and an offense that's been absolutely miserable. The bats have just been asleep for the Giants as of late. Peavy's commanding a -145, -150 price tag there. I think it's a little bit high considering. Look at the way Anthony DeSclafani's pitched for the Cincinnati Reds. He has been absolutely marvelous in recent games for the Reds. He's just been pitching very well, very consistent. Reds are 5-1 in DeSclafani's last 6 starts. So they've actually been winning Cincinnati with DeSclafani on the mound as of late. Just doing a very solid job. 2.5 ERA on the season, 3.22 ERA on the road for Anthony DeSclafani. I'm worried about Cincinnati's bullpen in this game because they were taxed a little bit over the weekend against Arizona, so I'm going to take some insurance on Cincinnati as an underdog. I'm going to look at Cincinnati as a dog, but on the first 5 inning line, maybe a little bit more on the first 5 inning line with Cincinnati than for the full game because I am a little bit worried about that pen. It's a terrible bullpen to begin with, and the fact that they had to log a lot of innings against Arizona over the weekend does concern me. So Cincinnati as a dog could be live there against the struggling San Francisco Giants, who are a team that's really been hit in a negative fashion by the All-Star break, completely disrupting their momentum more than any team really in Major League Baseball. I also think the over is worth a look in Oakland, Texas. Mengden is not very good. He's struggled. He's really labored for Oakland. And Martin Perez, as I've said, he's been a regression candidate waiting to happen for weeks, and we're starting to see signs of him getting a hit around a little bit more in recent outings. So that's a game that has over the total potential. The Athletics and Rangers, 10.5 the total in that game. All right, that's going to wrap things up. That's my look at MLB overnight lines for the games on Monday, July 25th. I'm sports handicapper Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. As always, thanks for watching.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.